Last year sometime I started amassing different Leatherman tools and some Swiss Army knives so I could make a video about which is the best one. And secondly, due to a compulsion to buying things I already have better versions of. Oh, I mean collecting. Kind of like my traditional folders overview video, where people complain I left something out and all those knives are dumb or ugly. And why aren't there any folders in it? But in order to review any of the other Leatherman multi-tools, I have to do 2 reviews first. Mainly because as far as I'm concerned, which is really the only opinion that matters, the PST and the Wave are the best. Sure, they have certain tools that offer specialized functions for real special people, so good for those. But as far as their most 2 well-rounded tools for the average idiot who thinks buying one more thing will definitely fill that hole, these 2 are it. I understand the PST has come back in a ridiculously priced special edition and the old one has been discontinued years ago. But it's the original. There have been improved models with locking tools like the rebar, but the PST has a compact, clean look that isn't ugly or busy, and you can get it relatively cheap on eBay, like 25 bucks. Both the Wave and the PST are better than carrying a pocket knife, but more practical for people who don't see the advantage in carrying around a damn toolbox. I have 8 or 10 Leatherman tools, and these are the 2 I carry most. But before we go any further into this snooze fest, let's take a look at the dimensions of the Leatherman Wave to get a good idea of its proportions and a better way to take up 3 minutes of your time. First, let's do the weight, with and without the sheath. Of course, there are several sheath options available. I'll put in individual weights here of the 2 most common sheaths. I hope you can add. Now for some external dimensions. When it's closed, like the thickness and the width and the overall length. Those are good, right? Now how about open with just the pliers for some real fun, and maybe the length of the handle area so you know how big of a grip it has. Blade length, cutting edge, spine thickness of the straight edge. Is it legal where you live? A ridiculous statement, but some people have these considerations.
Ah, a real handy guy here. Break 'em away, toys.
And how about a length section for the other external tools? They are measured starting where the handle ends, and not the cutting or sawing or filing edges, which would be slightly smaller. Now, if you remember my boring story hour from the PST review, I bought the Wave mainly because I liked the upgrades over the PST and because I was a nerd. Mainly the locking tools, ability to change the bits, more blade options, and the overall beefierness, which isn't a word but really a reflection on my limited knowledge of adjectives. Throughout its production, the Wave has had minor and major upgrades to its basic formula, sometimes even within the same major revisions. But those 3 main major revisions are known in multi-tool canon as such. The original Wave, the new Wave, and now the Wave Plus that just, I think, came out this year, 2018. The Leatherman Wave in all its versions shares the same basic formula. All or some of the tools lock, the blades are accessible from the outside when the tool is in its closed state, and they're made entirely out of stainless steel. Okay, for a minute, because you have nothing else better to do, and I don't either, let's look at those revisions. First, the original Wave is as such. You have the 4 main blades: saw, double-sided file, serrated blade, and straight edge blade. And of course the needle nose pliers. These tools all lock, however, tools accessed on the interior do not lock on the original Wave. And the interior tools are, starting on this side, the can/bottle opener, Phillips head screwdriver, large, thick flathead, and that weird little hole thing. I don't know, maybe you can tie fishing line in there. On the other side, you have 3 smaller flatheads. One here is broken off, but is basically the same one as on the PST, which I call the tweaker scene here, or the extra small flathead. And the scissors. Now in 2004, the Wave was given a major overhaul into what is unofficially known as the new Wave. Maybe it's official, I'm sure someone will correct me. I do know you can find the old one by looking up, quote, original Wave, and for the new one, I have just type in, quote, new Wave, for information on Devo and the Talking Heads. Here are the 2 open side by side. First, a shot of the pliers and the interior tools. That's pretty interesting. Now the exterior tools or blades. Even more interesting.
Could we Can we get a shot of them closed?
Sure thing, man. Here they are closed. The new Wave reduced the number of overall tools by switching out all the flatheads and Phillips with a large and small bit driver. Although the new Wave is heavier, maybe it's because it's beefier. The Wave Plus is not pictured because I literally learned about it while making this review. It's like the regular new Wave, minus the synthesizers, but with replaceable cutters now. So you can, if you cut a lot of wire, you can switch those out when they start to dull or sharpen them, whatever. Remember, Leatherman tools have pretty unconditional 25-year warranties. You can look on the inside of most of Leatherman's to find the date code. The first two would be like the month and the last two would be the year, like in here. Go to their website, fill out the form, ship it to them, and they fix or replace it as long as it's within the 25 years. While having said that, those people who post under videos without watching them because the world is a terrible, irredeemable place might post this, which is fine. Some people like the taste of bleach. The real tragedy is I had to rewatch my video to make sure I didn't say that. And it sucks. So, touche, troll. Where were we? Oh yeah. Hour 2 of a video about some pliers that also have knives and screwdrivers. Let's look at the blades because we haven't already apparently. First, the main straight edge blade. I use this most. It's a little small if you're doing food prep at your campsite, but it's easy to sharpen and it's made from 420 HC stainless steel. Then you got the serrated. Use this for cardboard or rope, whatever, your bread crust. Also made from 420 HC, easy to sharpen. To sharpen though, just repetitions of 4 swipes on my sharpener on the serrated side to 1 on the other side, a 4-to-1 sharpening ratio. Repeat until it's sharp or you get bored. You have the wood file side and the diamond file side, so the file tool. I use the diamond side on my fingernails to treat myself to a manicure in the outdoors. And the bottom is a file too. I don't know, figure out something to do with it. Then the saw. It's not necessarily flimsy, but it's kind of thin. It's like a saw to use on small things in a pinch, and not your main saw unless you're stupid. The pliers. I use these things a lot and they're good. I sometimes have to deal with Source 4 stage lights at work, and the interior part of the pliers here, the actual plier section, gives me enough grip to tighten the bolt if I don't have a proper C-wrench nearby, which is often. You have the interior wire cutter, which works well. Again, if you mainly cut wire or do a lot of things with the wire cutter, get a Leatherman with replaceable cutters. Or how about a real set of wire snips? And then this interior part here, you can crimp things with. I actually just found out about this feature and I've never used it. Now the tools. First the side with the beer and can opener. I found it doubles as both. I found better bottle openers. The angle is a little steep, so you have to kind of start really low to open the bottle. The can part also works fine too. So if you're cooking some beans on the open range, cowboy. Oh, and then there's this little wire stripper part here. I don't actually use this because I just do a few small cuts on the jacket of the wire with the blade and then pull for effective wire stripping. The large bit driver comes with a flat and Phillips head. Pull it out, flip it around. You can buy an additional Leatherman bit kit that looks like this, and you can fit it in your nylon Leatherman holster in the back part here. It comes with a lot of common sizes, and add an optional bit extender that takes the common 1/4 inch bits, or the slimline Leatherman style ones too. Both of them fit in the end of the bit kit extension. Of course, the bits and extenders are optional. On the other side, you get those small spring-loaded scissors. The old Wave had slightly bigger ones, but these are good. I use them mostly for my fingernails, and then the file for the finishing touches. Then the small bit driver with Phillips or flathead. It stays there well because of that little tension spring in the bottom part. You can see that. I've had the bit itself break occasionally, but you can buy new ones. And now the large flathead part. This was the part that broke clean off, so I had to send it in for repair. Took about 2.5 weeks from sending it in to getting it back. But since I have a lot of other multi-tools, there was nothing to complain about. Alright, so here's a basic size comparison between a few other multi-tools closed. There's the old version of the Leatherman Surge, the original Super Tool. There's like, I think we're up to the Super Tool 300 plus now. Then there's the PST, Pocket Survival Tool, and the Victorinox Champion. We'll do a shot of them open. And well, I guess do a quick hot take on why I like the Wave over these others. Because I'm looking at how much I've written here, and this video looks like it's going to be long as hell. The Champion is a good camp companion if you don't need pliers. It weighs about the same as the PST. The PST, I think I've already explained this review. And in the PST review, why I chose the Wave over this one. Then the Surge here, just it's big and heavy and really no more functional than the Wave. It has an awl on it though. Some people who need larger pliers and grips prefer them. So, you know, if that's you, great. The Super Tool I feel the same about. It's bigger and heavier, but those are heavier on the belt, and the size trade-off isn't really worth it in functionality for me. But I do plan on doing reviews of all of these in the future, so stay tuned for some really interesting content, gang. The sheaths. My Leatherman came with the nylon one, the new one. The old one I had came with the leather one. I prefer the leather one a little bit better. You can put the bit kit thing on the side, although I feel like it could fall out at any time. The nylon one, you can actually store everything in there. It's a little tight, but you can store the bit kits behind it. I don't have a strong opinion on these. That's just what they are. I usually carry the leather one, and I don't carry the bit kits or the extension with me because I don't use them often. Once a while back, a guy said on one of my videos, why carry around something so heavy when you don't need it? Just use real tools if you need it. Otherwise, just carry a knife. Like it was life advice that had never occurred to me. Well, there are those people professionally like me who don't need full tool kits and don't have the luxury of carrying around a giant toolbox with them, but need things occasionally like screwdrivers, wire cutters, pliers, and knives. I cut tie line, crank down bolts, sometimes repair power plugs, so I need Phillips and flathead screwdrivers, and carrying a common tool like this on my belt makes a lot of sense. The tools lock, it works well while camping, at work, in the car, and wherever. A multi-tool is rarely the best tool for the job, however they're extremely handy when you don't have a toolbox. You can throw one in your car, you can put one on your bike. They're easy to carry around. You can buy an optional pocket clip for this, but at 8 ounces it's kind of heavy for a pocket carry. I usually belt carry under my suit jacket at work or on my real belt when I'm out camping and no one judges me as being a nerd, because who cares what you look like when you haven't bathed properly in 3 days. The outside of the tool is extremely comfortable because it's rounded. Oh, and there's an 8-inch ruler too in a pinch. One thing I have heard though is if you're just using the knife and you have the handle folded this way, it becomes uncomfortable. I mean, maybe for long-term use, yes. But again, multi-tools are versatile and not always, say it with me, the best tool for the job. Short-term cutting for a few minutes or less is perfectly acceptable. I've had the Wave now for about 6 years, and it's my most useful everyday carry item, other than my money or a katana. I don't often offer strong recommendations on things, but this is really, you know, comes with the Advanced Knife Bros highest recommendation, which sounds weird and probably doesn't carry a whole lot of weight. But I like it because the warranty's great. The price is kind of high now at nearly $90. So now they've priced themselves into the high-end Victorinox real plier-based multi-tool range. Although Victorinox has in theory a lifetime warranty, it does not say misuse or abuse. So, I don't know. If you like this review but prefer multi-tools other than Leatherman tools, subscribe anyway. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Thanks for watching.